Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and today we're going to have a bit of a conversation regarding the possible future of Warhammer 3, as there's a few things that I want to discuss. It was kind of mentioned a bit yesterday, but it's going into a different direction here. You see, there are two actively supported campaigns for the Warhammer 3 game. That of the Realm of Chaos, which is the narrative focus, and then the Immortal Empires, the one that everyone actually cares about. Now, obviously, the Realm of Chaos map was introduced as a way to launch the game, which not a lot of people were actually too keen on, especially since there was a lot of problems at launch, and I mean a lot. Still, Creative Assembly have kept supporting it, using it as the main area where the narrative is going to go when a new DLC launches. But I'm looking towards the future and I feel like maybe it's time that the Realm of Chaos map was finally put to rest. It doesn't really need extra content, especially as the map itself is rather small and disjointed, and a lot of dev time is putting into a map which a lot of people don't really play. Again, I'm not saying get rid of the narrative, but the narrative can easily be put into the Immortal Empires map in a structured way, and more dev time can be put into Immortal Empires. More dev time could be put into DLCs rather than fixing up this map. So this is the Realm of Chaos map that was there available since launch. There has been some additions and changes since then, like the inclusion of Albion, but in the most cases it just hasn't changed that much. As you can see, it's pretty disjointed because the scaling was done in such a weird way where the map is actually just orientated a little bit different. It bothers me tremendously, by the way. I know it doesn't affect a lot of people, but yeah, the push to make it a square just was super bizarre this way, right? Now, we have to look at it this way. A lot of map updates have been coming here every now and then. The inclusion of Albion, for example, some settlement changes, all that type of stuff, for a campaign that just isn't that exciting. So here we can see the most recent version, I believe, where, not much has actually changed. The map is a bit more defined and just the changes to the Haunted Forest, adding of Albion and so on. But that's work that's taken away from DLCs, that's work that is taken away from, well, just adding some more, changing the Immortal Empires map a bit, or just a bigger patch. Development time is spent between this, isn't it? All that time could easily be used to better the Immortal Empires campaign and start actually thinking towards the future. If you look at this map, there's not a lot of places that they can expand to. For those of you who aren't aware, they're usually built on the 0x0 axis. So at the bottom where the Northern Grey Mountains is, that map cannot be expanded. So if we get a Dogs of War DLC, it's not going to be here. They can't expand the map downward unless they actually retool the map, which I don't know if that is easily doable or not, but I very much doubt it. But I'm looking towards the possible future, even if it's not counting the Dogs of War. You know, we're expecting Ind, Koresh, Nippon. This is all a maybe at this point. We don't know if it's going to happen, but it's definitely not going to happen on this map. The map itself is also horrendously small, so it's already feeling so disjointed that, we actually ended up getting a win here, where Epidemius, the FLC Legendary Lord, was placed in the Immortal Empires alone. Even though that map is starting to feel a little bit congested, it's still actually got a lot of room. Now, people might be saying, well, the Realm of Chaos map is the narrative, and I get that. Yeah, it does have a lot of the narrative there. However, there is less narrative when you look towards, say, for example, Thrones of Decay, and to be honest, the narrative could be put in the Immortal Empires, give you an actual reason to do a campaign, rather than the kind of weird system that we currently have, where it's just kill these factions, take 70 settlements, get the achievement, right? They could have two different options, so you could follow the narrative if you so wish, or you could completely ignore it. The only thing that would actually be missing is the whole Demon Souls campaign, and I'm pretty sure nobody would miss that. Let's be honest there. The Immortal Empires map could do with a little bit more of a narrative push. Again, campaigns not being the most stylized there. And a little bit of story goes a long way. It doesn't have to be a full narrative. This is a sandbox game after all. It should remain a majority sandbox, but some flavor is always well appreciated. The big narrative story is actually just more the prologue anyway, and if I wanted to play the story of Arthas Menethil, I'd just fire up Reign of Chaos or Frozen Throne, you know? It's pretty close to it. I do think that Creative Assembly were testing the waters with Epidemius, because, again, only in the Immortal Empires. We've had this before with Dryka, which was in the Mortal Empires, but that one was a bit more complicated, where you needed multitudes of DLC to be able to have her, whereas here, as far as I'm aware, you just need the base game, because obviously Immortal Empires is available to the base game only. So This is a cool system. I was really excited, as you guys might remember, when I posted my video about Epidemius, and I think that this is a good way forward. If this is them testing the waters with a FLC character, they should definitely test it with just a DLC too. I do imagine, however, that we're going to see them testing it again with an FLC character if the rumors are true. If the rumors that the Monkey King is the next DLC focus are true, then I do imagine that we'll see Li Dao the Fire Dragon as an FLC Legendary Lord. It makes sense for that to happen, as really they're attached to each other kind of story-wise. I just don't see them making a Fire Dragon DLC straight after. And again, going to the fact that the Realm of Chaos map is so small, well, yeah, it makes sense to just have him in the Immortal Empires map, once again testing the waters to see people's reactions. And then I imagine that that would be them planning ahead. I think that then next DLC would be Immortal Empires only if the accidental quotation mark leaks for the Dogs of War, which have been found in the game files, are true. The Dogs of War factions would likely not be able to fit within the Realm of Chaos map, so it just makes sense just to put them in the Immortal Empires and Immortal Empires alone. If this is something that Creative Assembly are indeed planning, then I will applaud them for it, because obviously it does make sense to test the waters prior. And in the event that they're not planning for this is why I wanted to make this video, just to kinda start signal boosting this, because I believe something like this would be the best way forward for the health and the life of the game. Now, I could be wrong, and yeah, feel free to tell me if I'm wrong in the comments. At the end of the day, I'm just throwing out ideas there that I've been having for quite some time now. But I'm thinking about the future because we know well full enough that there are layoffs coming. They've just recently started. Sega announced them literally right as we were starting the stuff with Thrones of Decay, which, you know, awesome, by the way, Sega, you know, on point as always. And while we don't know exactly how many people from Creative Assembly are going to be affected, we have heard the rumors. A lot of people have been reporting on it, games journalists too, who have some insider information that know that maybe Creative Assembly might be taking some heavy losses once again, which is an absolute shame. Yes, I don't really think that the reception to Thrones of Decay will be saving jobs, unfortunately. As remember, when it comes to layoffs, it's not usually knocking out the executives, it's really getting rid of staff who actually do care about the game, which is just really unfortunate. So with less devs to be able to work on the product, maybe it's time to start thinking about the future, scaling back a bit of work. I'm not saying making the DLC smaller, though we do know that some DLCs might be scaled back a little bit. Stop really focusing on the Realm of Chaos, focus on the Immortal Empires, have a little bit less of a workload, because again, the Realm of Chaos map is just not that great. Turn your attentions to the Immortal Empires, perhaps have a little bit more funding for Immortal Empires and the DLC itself, or the patch. I mean, 5.0 was great as it stands, don't worry. But in the future, we ended up seeing at least a fraction of that in the 0.1 patches too. We will be in a really good time. Some updates to some legendary lords and so on would be absolutely fantastic. This would basically be content during the period where we've got no actual new content. It would be fantastic for people to revisit other lords and have some fun with them. Now, I could be wrong here, and it could just be very easy to update the map in the Realm of Chaos stuff, but I imagine that it's not, because it would have to go through, you know, some basic testing. It will then have to go to the heads at CA to approve it, and then afterwards to Games Workshop and the back and forth there, because we know that there is a process with Games Workshop, especially now with the whole Ironsides thing. It's very obvious that was Games Workshop. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Let's start a bit of a discussion. I am open to your interpretation here, especially for this, because I know it's going to be one of those topics that is going to be very, very heated. I am reading your comments, by the way, don't you worry. I'm just thinking about the future and how this game could last as long as possible with, you know, focusing on the stuff that people do like. Now, there could be a lot of people that do like the Realm of Chaos map, but in terms of how the stats have been shown in terms of player stats, I think that's mostly in the Immortal Empires, because that means that you've got the full map and the full play area. But yeah, have a great day, everyone. I'll see you all again very, very soon. And if you're new here, might you consider subscribing? It doesn't cost you anything. It's completely free. It just helps the channel out to fight the whole YouTube algorithm stuff. I'm trying to like plan ahead a lot of content too, because I'm going away for a few days. Well, 2 weeks actually. So I'm trying to make sure that I've got everything up and running for you guys, so you've still got daily content on the go. But yeah, I'm trying to get to 100k too, which would be kind of nice to get it this year. We're getting so close, man. It would just be super cool. I know it's more like a vanity thing, but you know, a little victory is kind of nice. And if you're interested, pop by to twitch.tv/thegreatbookofgrudges. We'll be playing some more Call Friends today, after getting slapped around by Vlad a lot. Have a great one.